I'm grateful to be here at this vigil in memory of those who have fallen at the hands of evil.
Why are you leaving Ashland?
Ashland is like a big poisonous snake that's slowly taking its time to sink its teeth in and poison you to death.
A new dimension in sound. This is love. As the record plays, love.
Yeah, why don't you just tell us what you're doing tonight?
So I'm doing Alkebulan History Month vigil for Aidan, Ellison, Michael Ewell, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. And Alkebulan is the original name for Africa. It's the predating name. So I say that instead of saying black. I don't feel like there's any such thing as a black person or a white person. So for Alkebulan History Month, I wanted to go over the local people who have passed away due to police violence, or not police violence, due to white supremacy, and also go over people abroad who have died from police violence, Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. So, and I also wanted to get people to do prayer during this important week of Black History Month, or Alkebulan History Month, and get people to remember what happened to Aidan Ellison, to remember the fact that he was still a teenager, and that he got killed by a man that was in his mid-40s, because of white supremacy. And that the town has tried to not take his life as a serious tragedy. They've tried to more so move on from it happening and let it go and not do anything to stop it from repeating itself, which is why I keep showing up out here to do the vigils, particularly during Alkebulan History Month. Yeah, you guys saw me for the first one, which was the vigil to heal the wildfire disaster victims, and that was how this started. This was kind of like me changing the energy up from the marches that we did this summer and focusing on my own sweet life more, and doing vigils and doing things that were more monk-oriented to heal the community at a deeper level.
All right, how about you introduce yourself for us?
My name is Matthew, and I met Mmmingpha actually at the end of February last year. They did an event at the Ashland Library, and he was there, and me and my wife connected with him, and we've stayed in touch since then.
So how are you participating in this event tonight?
I provided the table and picked up Mmmingpha, and then I'll go on the vigil walk with him here in a little bit, and I was also there on Thursday as well for the walk.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was gonna say I feel like I've signed them, but can I sign them again?
Yeah, of course. And then these are sandals that we're gonna pick up in like another 10 minutes once we all start doing prayer. No, you take it with you.
And you were just talking about you were driving from Klamath Falls and you saw Dead Indian Road. What was your
driving to Ashland? I was going thrifting in Klamath Falls, and there was a road for like miles long called Dead Indian Road, and the amount of I'm a very spiritual person, and I just felt like this is wrong, and I think it's wrong for anyone. I think as white colonizers of this world, it's like, how can we say that we have anything that's ours to own when we're naming things Dead Indian Road, or we're buying Indian property that is literally not ours, and then we're putting Native Americans still in basically concentration camps in our country, and it's okay. It's evil. It's evil and crazy. So I think love needs to shine, and it's just humans need to be more compassionate, especially with our Native American sisters or brothers and sisters, and understand that we are colonizers on this world. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you
that
so
story
much.
and your perspective.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for seeing value in it.
Okay, I'm Sydney Cooper. This is my wife Flora and my
Hi.
son Shane.
Hi there, Shane.
Actually, we've been here probably I've been here 2 years. My wife and son been about a year and a half. We came from California, and so we live here in Ashland. And so we're enjoying it so far. We met our brother Mmmingpha. He's part of our community out here, which is really good. I think it was really sad to hear what happened to the young gentleman. And I was very surprised that it happened in Ashland. I really have been. When we first moved here, we kind of thought Ashland was more like Berkeley, kind of liberal. Everybody's kind of free thinking. But with that incident, it's very troublesome. You know what I mean? And the way that happened, and the way everything materialized. So we are. As a community, we're behind, all the efforts to heal the community and the collective effort from all communities. This is which we really need. And so we think that in terms of what we've seen here, especially last summer, we're really encouraged by the youth and them coming together. And it's not all about ethnicity. It's all ethnicities coming together, just thinking about humanity. And so if we can see that things are not being done in a humane way, or people not being treated in a humane way, you figure like a dispute like that could have been handled in a humane way. Am I right? So we gotta err on the side of humanity, and so that's what we're all about.
Well, thank you so much for
no,
sharing your
absolutely.
perspective.
I appreciate you being out here and supporting. That means a lot.
Oh, thanks. That's what I do. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely.
Shifura, hara shifura, hara shifura. Chishusa, chishusa, chishuri, chishuri, saweja, saweja, senchi gya shirie somoko. Nomo sanmanda motona no harachi kotosha. Sononan toji toeng ya gya ki. Annen shifura, shifura, hara shifura, hara shifura.
I'm grateful to be here at this vigil in memory of those who have fallen at the hands of evil, those who have fallen at the hands of those who do not have kindness, who do not have peace in their heart. We know that those are not amongst us here tonight, but we recognize that they do exist. And as we come together to represent unity, to represent community, we represent peace. We represent what we want Southern Ashland to be. And protect us in all aspects of this vigil, at the Stratford Inn and at the railroad crossing. May we keep peace in our hearts. May we keep love in our hearts, unconditional love and acceptance, not just for one another, but for ourselves. Because love comes from within.
Annan shifura, shifura, hara shifura, hara shifura.
May this be the last time that this happens here in Ashland. May this be the last time that this happens in Stratford Inn. May your spirit protect all those who remember you. May you help your family in their grieving time. May your presence be felt. May your presence be strong. May all other black brothers, black men, may they not fall at the hands of enemies, those who do not want them around, do not want them in Ashland or in Southern Oregon. May they not fall victim of hate crime. May they not fall victim of untimely deaths. May they not fall victim to the rims, to the deceit, to the evil that is going on. May you acknowledge it May your spirit be present. And as you have not forgotten, as you are not forgotten, may you not forget others who remember you. Ashe.
Chimre Zig is used to awaken inner hearts to bodhicitta, which is the awakened heart that connects to the universal family on the planet and off of the planet. It's also used for atonement and to forgive other people, and for forgiveness in general, for letting go, to be able to cross over to higher realms of existence. And it's also used for people who pass away within the first 49 days of them passing away. Even though it's past 49 days, I'm just doing this in honor of his life, because he died before he got to turn 20 years old, and just to make atonement with what's happened here. We're going to walk to Railroad Park now.
Oya brings about change. May the spirit of Oya bring change to Ashland, bring change to Southern Oregon and Oregon. Change for good. We're here doing this vigil for change of peace, for change of humanity, for change of communion, of community, and of everyone here being able to enjoy nature, being able to enjoy the natural wonders of this area.
Ashe. Stay grateful for everything that I'm given by the Ifa, by the Dhamma, by the Great Spirit every day. Wakantanka guide the way. Everything I live in Karuna, as I pray, as I meditate, as I walk to the point that I'm above madness to the extent that I levitate. Ashe. I continue to live. I continue to move forward in different situations. I continue to give. I continue to thrive. I continue to be alive. I continue to allow them to speak through me. Ashe. I never die. I continue to live infinitely and give others infinite love, beyond love, infinite karuna, infinite aloha, infinite umoja. Living beyond the life of a soldier. Nothing tragic. Living a life that's beyond magic, supernatural and factual and actual. Continue to be the movement in the breeze of Oya, the movement that I live in the praise of Jah, the movement that I live in the praise of Dhamma, no kama, no drama, no nonsense. Never disobeying the planetary Papa and Mama. Living in Ana with the prana. Breathing in and out. No matter what happens, there is always, most definitely, a way out of suffering, of catastrophe. Because actually, the way that we need to live is in truth, wisdom, and compassionately with each other. Sister and brother, mother and father, never bother to associate with those who decide to fall off the cliff of samsara. If they choose to fall into the depths of hell and dwell into the cell of entrapment and egotistical catastrophe, then let it be. away from us. We will continue to enforce this. You will not sway us. We will continue to grow and rise. We will continue to dig deep into the earth, into the roots of the soil, to spread like blackberries. Thorns and all, adorned with all of our ancestors shining brightly in our present spiritual flow, choosing never to fall but to rise, like the sun on the horizon. 'Cause I continue to live a life benevolently surprising as I walk in Zazen. Namaste. Ashe.
All right, folks, so it's been a day since the vigil we had with Mmmingpha. And so what we wanted to do now... Has it been 2 days? What we wanted to do now was sit down with Mmmingpha and have a conversation reflecting on all the different things that you've been doing over the past year and even longer, all the different things that we've captured with you. Because, well, why don't you say, you're going to be moving out of Ashland here pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be going to the East Coast, either to New Jersey or Syracuse, New York. We'll see, though. We'll see how things go. I'm definitely going to be leaving within the next 3 months, though. Wow. Yeah.
And so that vigil was your last, like, public community organized event here in Ashland, yeah?
Yeah, as far as me and Amivi Sangha and a lot of things that I've done, like outward activities. I may be involved, I'm definitely involved in a civil rights panel discussion that we're going to have local community organizers and stuff on Zoom at the end of the month, close to the end of the month. I'm going to be doing other things, but as far as me organizing events in Oregon, that was the last one. Yep.
So I guess, how do you feel about the culmination of everything that you've done here in Ashland?
I feel like I've won 2 championships here. As far as like NBA style, I've won 2 championships, and I don't need to three-peat here. I know I can like go to a better team, one that's more Pan-Alkebulan, Pan-African oriented, one that's definitely more multi-ethnic, far more multi-ethnic, and more grounded and rooted in truth, wisdom, and compassion. I came here because of spiritual messages I got that I was kind of stubborn about, but I eventually moved here at the end of 2012 due to those spiritual messages. So I came here to be in nature and to be a large part of the nature here, which after moving here, I came to really realize that it was Shasta and Ashland, and I didn't know like the relationship. I just knew I needed to be in Oregon. And then when I got here, I figured that out. I would say 50% of the reason for sure was because I was recovering from 2 severe brain injuries, and I had terminal amnesia when I got here. It was bad. Like, it was starting to look like I was gonna not have most of my memories for the rest of my life because of 2 severe accidents that I got in within a 6-day period of time in 2008. So for 4.5 years, I traveled around the country with most of my memory gone, and then when I arrived here, I miraculously began to recover after being here for a month and a half. It's easier for me to have that experience outside of Oregon, in the East Coast, in the Northeast Coast of the country where I grew up at, because at this day and age, and I think it's always been like this, but now it's very obvious, particularly since the Capitol building craze, that anywhere that is predominantly European or more than 50% European is very dangerous for non-European people to live in America. It's just not safe, whether that be physically or psychologically. In this case, it's psychological. It's more of a feeling that Ashland is like a big poisonous snake that's slowly taking its time to sink its teeth in and poison you to death.
So you, over the summer, led dozens of the protests that happened here in Ashland, and then since then you've also held dozens of these vigils. And if I'm right, your political stance is the things you're trying to accomplish are to ban the Confederate flag here in Oregon, change the name of Dead Indian Memorial Road and all the other Dead Indian geographic features, among other things.
To clarify, I would say my goal with the Dead Indian names is to just remove it. To just have the names removed. Whatever, in this area, it's Shasta and Takelma. I'm not sure who is on what native tribes are responsible at the other Dead Indian names, or if it's all the same thing. My whole thing is to just remove it and to attract a humongous amount of attention to it so that it gets changed immediately. You know, whatever they change it into is up to them. You know, whatever sacred names they want to use Grandma Agnes's name, whatever they want to do, but get it out of my face and get it out of the face of everybody else immediately.
They did rename a lot of the geographic features up around Dead Indian Memorial Road. Yeah. They'd changed the Dead Indian part to Lot Gawa and basically just up in the Grizzly Peak area, just along that whole route, so Dead Indian Mountain. Okay. Yeah, so there has been some change. How do you feel, though, in general about, do you think that you've made a splash here? Is there a difference that you feel?
Definitely. I think the first thing is, you guys videoed, you were here, 80 people came to sign petitions, both for the Confederate flags and for the Dead Indian names, roughly. And then 20 people or less, in between 15 and 20 people marched with me on Dead Indian Road. And that everybody had heard about it. And even the whole controversy with the corrupt Native Council here deciding that they were going to try to call the police on me the day that the event happened and all this other stuff, they eventually fell back on it, but it was definitely a strong scare they tried to give me. But even that, I got to realize how corrupt the local Native Council was and how redneck-oriented they actually are. A lot of people heard about it, found out about it, and it created a large talk. Even though not all the large communication about it was positive, it got talked about quite a lot. As far as carrying out the actual event, no problems over here. And also the impact of the event, definitely I'm happy about. I wish there had been more people that would have had enough heart to march with me, but it turned out good. And then as far as the Defund the Police march, I didn't even plan on leading that march. That just, Buddha nature guided me to lead that march. Mm-hmm. You know, divine source, Ifa, guided me to lead that march. Mm-hmm. So I led it. You know, and then as far as feds out of Portland and the other marches, which I did purposely and fully carry out, being the leading voice for, I'm happy with those too. The vigils, everything. Like, as far as any activist stuff I've done, especially over the past year, from 2020 up to now, definitely. The Black History Month, I'll keep on parentheses Black History Month that I did, the events that I did at the Ashland Library last year, performing at Aqua, doing positive hip hop went well.
Cause I don't mess with the stuff that please get tagged, and I'm quick to burn the Confederate flag. There you go. Hey.
A lot of like the stuff that I've done, I would say since autumn of 2019 has been really successful. The whole Confederate flag thing with not only areas outside of Ashland, but after Trump didn't get elected, those people causing a ruckus and mayhem, and then even having Aidan's untimely, unfortunate death happen here. So, yeah, I have no issues with the Confederate flag thing. That needed to go a long time ago. That needed to have been gone. Both of them actually are synonymous. I don't get why people separate them and make them into two different. They're the same thing. Yeah. It's KKK terrorism. It's not. There's nothing different about either thing. So, I feel good about both. I just would like for people to stop trying to divide and conquer. In this case, don't try to separate two issues as if they're different things. They're the same thing. And that's why that young bro, it's part of what contributed to that young brother getting killed. The thing that really gets me pissed off, or I shouldn't say pissed off, upset, about people who think that they're white, which I don't like white people. I've said this before. Like, if you think you're white, I don't like you. You know, if that you call yourself that kind of a person, I don't like you. If you're honorable person, virtuous person, and you know your European background, then I can talk, we can kick it. Or if you have some interest in knowing that about yourself and being that, cool. If you're white, I don't like you. I don't like white people, you know. So the white attitude is very prevalent here, and Aidan's death just proves it. The reason why I don't like white people is because white people are terrorists, and that's the kind of thing that white people do. Mm-hmm. White people get out of a car when they're in their late 40s and think that they have the right to kill a brown person that hasn't even lived to be 20 yet. This is why I don't like white people.
I guess, could you clarify on this a little bit? Because, like, I'm white, Tripp's white. What do you mean by any of this?
You're not white. If you're sitting here recording me, there's no way that you're white. There's no way that your upper caste system, entitled, you know, I'm going to reinforce wickedness on the planet. I'm going to make sure that these things keep happening. I don't want to deal with any possibility of knowing what racism is, even if I'm doing it, or I want to avoid it so that I can continue to do it on purpose. You're not that.
Gotcha. So
I'm saying things. The thing I'm saying is like a simple truth, but it can cause a lot of like you know how the duck comes up from the pond and there's ripples. It can cause ripples everywhere. But if you really reflect on what I'm saying, and it's really important that European people in America reflect on what I'm saying. White is a KKK terrorist Nazi person. Instead of we're Christian so we can kill anybody that's not Christian, or we're Muslim so we'll kill anybody that's not Muslim, we're white, we'll kill anybody that's not white.
So when you say like you don't like white people, you're not so much talking about people just based purely on their skin color, but almost more attitude, is that correct?
I'm talking of mentality that goes along with the skin complexion. That comes from the Pope, hundreds of years ago. You have the right to be here because you are white and you are Christian. You can do whatever you want. These people they're not even people. They're animals. That whole mentality, that's white.
So it is more a mentality and a culture. I think that's important to clarify with you, because talking to other people about you in the past, that's one of the criticisms I've had people say about you is and sure, you know, you can own that.
White and white supremacy are the same thing. They're not different. In order to stop white supremacy, you have to stop white people from existing. White people can't exist anymore.
So what is that? What's the future you see? What's the future you hope for, I suppose?
I don't want to see, regarding this particular issue, Al-Qibalan people, African people, what they call nowadays, acting like they're black. You know, even I tend to slip up sometimes because it said so much, but I don't want to see any people from that main lineage that I'm from that has a rich, powerful, and amazing history and has contributed to at least half, if not most, of the planet's positive virtue and benevolent abundance, anciently, call themselves a lower caste system black person. That needs to become extinct ASAP.
We've been through a lot, Mmmingpha, all these different events, and I've had a fabulous time covering everything that you've been doing. So I just want to give you my personal thank you for letting us in, talking to us so much, giving us so much of yourself and so much of your time, you know, letting us get that close scoop on all these events. I want to wish you the best of luck, Mmmingpha. Thank you for everything, and good luck out there.
And I very much appreciate it. I appreciate being able to be here. I don't think that this was a waste of any energy or anything. And for all the good and bad experiences, I'm glad that I moved here. And I'd like to see this place change dramatically soon, and it's capable of it. Yeah.
All right, thanks for watching, folks.
What we call sound.